So also really briefly, I want to cover where I invest my money because I know that this question comes up a lot. So I invest my money in a lot of different places, but the three main stock platforms that I have my money on are Robinhood, M1 Finance, and Webull, okay? So on Robinhood, I have my kind of, I don't want to call it play money because I invest seriously on Robinhood, but with M1 Finance, I'll outline that one first actually. With M1 Finance, I actually have my Roth IRA on, okay? So I can't invest anymore currently this year in M1 Finance. My Roth IRA is maxed out. As we've covered before, I have a Roth IRA, which basically means that you can only put $6,000 into it every year because it's a retirement fund, okay? I also have a lot of money into Robinhood, which is where I invest in ETFs, into mutual funds, and into blue chip stocks as well. So that's kind of my investments now. I have more access to that cash essentially, and I'm more liquid there. While you can pull out of a Roth IRA, I don't pull out of my Roth IRA, and it's not something I'd recommend that you do necessarily in most cases. So Robinhood, I'm a little bit more liquid, and I can get that money quicker if I need to pull money out, or I can kind of, sell stocks and move stocks around a little bit more. You can do that on M1 Finance as well, but I personally choose M1 Finance for my Roth IRA, okay? Now, Webull I also invest in a little bit, but I don't have as much into Webull. I didn't used to like Webull a lot, and I used to promote it when I was heavy into stock market, and kind of dividend investing. So I would promote it, and I'd get free stocks on there, and I put, I think, like I want to say I only have like $1 or $2 into Webull. I'd have to check. It's not much, but so I have money in there, and I didn't used to like the platform, but I recommended it because I knew it was a good platform to use. I like the app, right? So I used to like the app from your phone, and that's really, really easy to use, but I didn't like the actual website. But they have updated their website last month actually, and it's actually a great interface now. So I actually do recommend Webull, just the same with Robinhood and M1 Finance. So Robinhood's probably the most beginner friendly, although these are all beginner friendly. It's not like you have to, have like a financial manager or somebody like that. It's not like you're looking at somewhere like a Charles Schwab or, a TD Ameritrade, which those can be a little bit more daunting and less beginner friendly. It's harder to kind of, understand those platforms and how to use them. Whereas Robinhood, M1 Finance, and Webull have all the benefits that they have, right? All the things that you can do, but there's so much, their interface to use is so much easier to use for beginners. That's why I recommend them, okay? Another reason I recommend them is they have zero fees, which is massive, okay? So what people don't realize is when you put money into the stock market, often you're paying a fee every single time you buy or sell a stock, which means you're literally giving money to the platform for the right to buy or sell that stock, right? So if you put $200 into a stock, you don't realize you're basically being charged like $5 or $10 for buying that stock, right? So really you're only putting $195 or $190 into it, right? You want to sell that stock? Guess what? You're paying a fee to sell that stock, right? So all three of these platforms have zero fees, which is huge, huge, huge for any investor, but especially new investors that really don't understand that. And also M1 Finance and Robinhood have fractional shares, which is also massive. So Robinhood and M1 Finance for fractional shares, which if you don't understand, is typically speaking, let's say a stock is, $250, right? Well, to buy that stock, you have to give $250, right? Then you have one share of that stock, okay? Now, if a stock's $400, then you have to give $400, and then you have a share of that stock, right? But with fractional shares, which is a new concept that's kind of just become, it's kind of just been integrated into these platforms recently, you can put $5 into it. You can put $10 into it, right? And then you own a fraction of that share, okay? So you don't need to actually come up with the entirety of the money to buy into that stock. You can buy a fractional share of it with whatever money you have to invest, right? So you can start with $10, you can start with $50, you can start with $100, you can start with $1,000, and simply spend all that money into that stock, and you're going to buy 5.3 of that stock instead of 5 and then having cash, right? Does that make sense? I hope so. If not, ask a question. Obviously I'd be willing to help and point you in the right direction. But all three of these stock platforms are ones that I use literally every single day myself, and I highly recommend that you look into. Now, these are affiliate links. If you click these, obviously you can grab these stocks right here. I will also attach a lecture or a document to this actual lecture if you want to go ahead and download these as well. But if you have the PowerPoint already, you can simply click these. It's going to be referral links. Now, obviously, I benefit, but you benefit from them as well, okay? So on Robinhood, you can get a free stock worth up to $1,000 by simply signing up through this link right here on the PowerPoint or on the attached document to this. You can get $1,000 potentially for free. Right? So sometimes I've opened, I think, like 10 stocks on Robinhood for free because people have obviously been referred. So they get a free stock, I get a free stock. A couple of them have been like $4, some of them have been 10, and I think the best one I've ever gotten was like $100. So it doesn't happen often. Obviously, it's going to be rare that you get that $1,000 stock, but it is possible, right? So if you open up this link and you sign up for Robinhood, you can get a free stock worth up to $1,000, okay? M1 Finance, you go through this link, you can get free $10 to invest, which obviously it's not as sexy, right? So people don't click that link as much, but typically speaking, if you're going to have a higher chance of getting a $4 or $100 or a $10 stock on Robinhood, it's pretty much the same thing, except they're solidifying the fact that you're going to get $10 and not $4, okay? Now, Webull, same thing. You can get, I believe it's up to $500 in stocks on Webull. So same thing with them. That's another promotional one where you can get free stocks. So that's a great way to get started if you're new to this, obviously, or if you don't have a Robinhood, M1 Finance, or Webull account. There's free stocks that you can obviously download, and then given a certain period of time, you can get those free stocks and then morph them over to where you actually sell or trade stocks in the future, okay? So that's where I invest my money. Highly recommend that you look into those three as well. Remember, the key crucial things to look for are zero fees and fractional shares. I like both of those the best, and I think they're super helpful for beginners.